To get by giving is the way of a world with abundance. Obviously, this isn't the way of the world in which we live. The economic system in place demands that people spend money on stuff. This flow of money is necessary for businesses to operate and is the very blood of the economy. Back when we could still afford to buy all sorts of stuff, the system was thriving. But we got carried away. Suddenly, we weren't buying stuff. Stuff was buying us. We just had to have the faster car, the hot new shoes, the bigger house, and the brand new game. Stuff was no longer being used for the purpose of enhancing the experience of life. Stuff was our experience of life. We had to be doing something, saying something, seeing something, hearing something. Simply doing nothing, but enjoying a still and silent moment, seemed like a waste of time. Now, we can't buy stuff. We can't afford to. But our thoughts aren't about the fast car, hot shoes, big house, or brand new game we wish we could have. They're about the fast car, hot shoes, big house, and brand new game we wish we hadn't bought in the first place. Isn't it disgusting to realize we could be choosing the use of our own time if we would have just been more reasonable with the stuff we chose to buy? But what would that have done to the economy? The economy demands a spending and circulation of money. Without buying stuff, the economy would have collapsed long ago. No, we never found buying stuff to be a problem. Yet, the economy is in shambles. This, of course, is because even with the money we spend, there is still not a circulation of money. In the US, 95% of the nation's wealth is controlled by just 5% of the people, the elite. The people among us who own all the major businesses we buy our stuff from have more money than we could ever dream of spending, and so tuck it away or tie it up in assets and investments. In any event, the vast majority of money is kept from popular circulation, and most all money that does trickle down ends up right back in rich pockets once we find stuff to spend our money on. So what is there to do? Even if we wanted to resolve the situation, we couldn't. Or could we? Come to think of it, the problem seems pretty simple. We want stuff. We'll trade our money for it. We'll trade our time for it. We'll trade our peace for it. We'll trade our happiness for it. We'll sell our soul for it. We want stuff. But why? What good is all this stuff? Have we completely forgotten that stuff is meant to enhance our experience of life? How do fast cars, hot shoes, big houses, and new games enhance our experience of life when we are spending the time we should be enjoying working off the debt from all this stuff? Some of us have abundant wealth. Great, enjoy it. But what is the need to own anything more than the simple stuff necessary to enhance the experience of life? The rest of that money? Share it. Surely we can all see greater purpose in feeding the millions of children that go hungry than stockpiling money and money machines. And at the very least, wouldn't that feeling of purpose enhance the experience of life a little more than, say, an eighth digit to the left of the dot? So the problem is simple. How about the solution? Also simple, but with a catch. All we have to do is something we've never done before. We have to give, and we have to want to give. Not give to get something in return, not give with ulterior motives or hidden agendas, but give for the sake of us all. Simple enough, right? There is enough that we could all have all the stuff we need to enhance our experience of life to the fullest. It just needs to be distributed in such a way. This isn't something the government can or should do. If this is to be done, we are the ones that are going to have to do it. The wealthy among us have a simple task. Just give. Keep plenty to live an abundant life. With the rest, feed the poor and enhance the lives of family, friends, and the community you live in. For all of us, we must value time over stuff and be happy with simply adequate stuff. We must use stuff, not let stuff use us. The act of giving causes something magical to happen. Whenever something is given, and given for the sake of all, with no strings attached, another one of us receives something, for free, with no effort necessary. Without the act of giving, there is nothing to receive, so to get anything, we must take it for ourselves. Then everything we want takes effort to attain, and when we are not in position to take something, we go without. So now, what if? What if instead of working for the money to take stuff, the purpose of our work was to give away our skills, abilities, resources, and the stuff we produce? Then we would receive all our stuff directly from the pool of what is given. We wouldn't have to take anything. The collective and cooperative act of giving would create a pool of abundance from which we all receive freely. Getting stuff would require no effort. Instead, the only effort involved would be in giving. Instead of loathing work, we would see purpose in our jobs. Instead of making just enough to get by, we would all give and so receive abundance. Now, we all know this isn't the way of the world we live in, but imagine for a moment what life would be like if it were. A life of absolute abundance, filled with purpose, with the time to experience life and the resources to enjoy it. But it's impossible. It could never happen. Never say never. Sure, it's unreasonable to expect any of us to just give away our hard-earned money, especially when we don't even have enough for ourselves. But consider why we maintain the assumption that our society must be based on the use of money. Just think about it. What is money? It is clearly stated on the front of the American dollar. Money is legal tender for all debts, public and private. So anytime we go out and get stuff, we are indebted to someone for it. Then we have to go work for the money to pay the debt. This is what happens when we get by taking. But when we get by giving, there's no debt to pay off, as we take nothing. Instead, we receive from what is given. This way, without debt, there is no need for money. So if not money, what would we use as the measure of labor? How would we determine how much we should receive from the pool of what is given? Time. Who's to say a surgeon's work is any more important than a garbageman's? Without a public garbage service, we would drown in our own filth. As it is, we almost do anyway. The only reason a surgeon gets paid more is because his job requires special and extensive training and abilities, so there are fewer capable people than needed for the job. This doesn't make the garbageman any less valuable, though. The last thing the surgeon wants is to get home from a long, nerve-wracking day just to have to load up his trash to take to the dump. So, in our get-by-taking society, the surgeon and garbage men each spend more than 40 hours a week providing us with their invaluable services, but one makes enough to get stuff, more stuff, and stuff to burn, while the other barely has stuff needed to survive. But in a get-by-giving society, time, not money, is the accepted currency. So, the surgeon and the garbage man each work their weekly shifts. In return, they each receive from the pool the number of hours in which they gave to the pool. With these hours, each would select the items and services they wish to receive from the pool, and the cost is the amount of time needed to complete the task or fill the order. Considering that currently 95% of us have access to only 5% of the resources, it seems pretty obvious we would all have plenty, more stuff than we could ever need, if resources were just distributed a bit more evenly. The use of time currency levels the playing field and makes it so we can all experience life with abundance. Can this ever happen? Will this ever work? Who knows, but all that is started as a dream. So let's continue dreaming a little longer.